guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Ailey. Today's video we are talking about the Ring the Alarm palette from the Vault collection. This obviously is the last one of my individual palette focused videos and it's going to be exactly the same concept as all the rest. So instead of me sitting here boring you with a load of bump that you don't really need to hear, I guess we will just crack on with the swatches. First, before we do that, this lip. I get my lips done on Friday, so I can't wait to try this after that's done. But this is the MAC Jamie Genevieve collaboration, whatever you want to call it, with Spice lip liner underneath, and I have to say, it's probably the prettiest nude I've ever worn in my life. But anyway, that's not what this video is about, so I'm just going to fire you on to the swatches, and then as with all the other videos, I went on and did a demo as well, so yeah. Okay, so we're starting off with Lolly, and then we have Rush, then we have On Camera, and then we have Boom. So there's one matte there so far, and like with all the others, it didn't swatch great. Build it up a little bit, it can be built up, but yeah, not the best. Carrying on, the last one on the top row is Alert, and it really doesn't swatch well. We have Bomb Ass, starting on the second row now, Siren, and Mugshot. Mugshot doesn't actually swatch too badly. I'm going to go back into Alert and just see if I can, yeah, it's still pretty patchy. I mean, they can be built up, but it is still pretty patchy. And the last two are Framed and Secret. Secret doesn't swatch too badly, Framed is a little bit patchy, but that is all the swatches from the Ring the Alarm palette. It performs pretty much the same as all the others, just by kind of first impression swatches. Okay, so that's the first time I've actually swatched that palette. Like with all the videos I did, I sort of played with them in the eyes first and then I swatched them. So, I mean, it's not bad. When I compare it to the original Jaclyn Hill palette, there isn't that much difference, to be honest, but the mattes really do sort of come out a little bit patchy. When you blend them on the eye though, they're not bad. If you pick up too much product, they can go for miles and miles and miles, and they tend to not sort of blend well together. You really have to sort of build them up slowly. I always find going in with a sort of reverse technique is easier, so when I lay down the darker shadow, blending out the edges with a lighter shadow, that seems to work really well. But that's kind of what I like to do anyway, just because I don't have an awful lot of lid space. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to flip you on over to the demo portion now to try and keep this video reasonably short, and you can see how it performs on the eyes, which is really where it counts anyway. And then I'll have my next video that I upload should be a full review on my thoughts on the whole collection and each individual palette, sort of all in one video. So if it isn't up already, I will link it when it is up. It'll be up here somewhere. So I think that's pretty much it. I think I got through that relatively quickly, so on to the demo portion now. Okay, so it's Ring the Alarm time. This is the final palette of the bunch. If I haven't shown it in the start of the video, here it is here. It is probably, I would say, the most similar to her original palette. I don't know if that video is up yet, but I did a video comparing all of the Vault collection to her original palette and like swatching the colours and things like that. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it up here for you and you can go over and watch that. I don't know when I'm uploading it yet, but I will link it up there as soon as it's uploaded. So to prime, I'm going to use a Painterly like I always do, and I'm actually going to grab Poof out of the Dark Magic palette just to set that, just because it's a great shade for setting down a concealer or a base. I think I have an idea of what I'm going to do with this palette. I'm going to grab Rush on a big fluffy brush and put this really high in my crease. I'm going to try not to do a halo slash spotlight eye, even though they're like my favourite looks to do right now. I'm going to try and steer clear of it. Here, I'm just putting a wash of colour on. I have used this palette already because I've been gearing up to do my sort of impressions on all of it. I wanted to do like sort of first impression videos of all the palettes and then a proper review at the end of all of them in like one video. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my R38 brush and take Mugshot, which is this one here, in my socket, because if you've watched my beginner series or my videos in the past, I may have explained that when you have hooded eyes like me, your crease becomes your eye socket. This isn't really a tutorial. I don't really want to go too in depth of why I'm doing stuff. Otherwise we'll be here for days. Let's do this part with my eyes open so that I can see exactly where the colour's going. So Mugshot blends out alright. I mean, it doesn't immediately blend out or anything like that. It does grab a little bit where you first placed it. I don't mind that so much when I'm doing a look like this because obviously I want the most intense colour to be here. And to be honest, with like her original palette and kind of most palettes that I've used, they kind of do that anyway, and if they move around too much, I find it's annoying. But that depends personal preference, you know. If you don't like that, then you won't like it. It's as simple as that. I'm going to go back into Mugshot with my Morphe M433 and I'm just going to pull this down. I love the shape of this brush. This is a new brush to me. It just sort of sits in here really nicely. And I'm just sort of finding the shape that I want. This palette is very similar to the Armed and Gorgeous palette in the way that you only really have to dab into these shades. You don't want to be swirling around in them. You just literally, I'm going to pick up, what's it called? I'm going to pick up Secret next, and you just really want to be patting into them. Not all of them are like that, but this one and Armed and Gorgeous is. So I'm just sort of mixing them together and deepening up that colour a little bit. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of Mugshot and just take that around the edge. Okay, I'll go back and perfect that in a minute and blend it out a bit nicer, but basically I've just got like the shape that I want there. So I will say with these shimmer shades that they're not quite as good as the ones in the Armed and Gorgeous palette. The reason that I say that is because these ones you do need a base. So I'm going to put down a base of concealer. I'm just going to use my Colourpop No Filter Concealer. And then I'll apply them over the top. But like I said, with the Armed and Gorgeous palette, you really don't need to do that with most of the shades in the palette. But just before that sets, I'm going to grab a little brush. I'm going to grab On Camera. And I will say with these shades as well, you're better swiping them than you are patting them. When you pat, not an awful lot seems to happen and it doesn't really bring out that metallic sort ofness of the shadow. Whereas if you sort of pat and pull it, it kind of makes it a little bit more vibrant. So I'm going to blend that into Boom Mint now, just so that it sort of blends out into that outer corner shade. And then I'll go back in with Secret and just add a little bit more of that just to blend it in a little bit. And then what I like to do with any sort of look like this is I'll take a little brush and take that darkest shade and run that sort of along so it makes almost like a cut crease effect. So just run it and fade it right down. A little bit like that. Okay, so I've just cut up with the other eye. I'm going to now go in with Rush on my lower lash line. A little bit of Mugshot. Then really tight into my lashes. I'm going to go in with Secret. I'm going to do my brows off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think it's just mascara and lashes that are left, and that bit's kind of boring, so we'll probably just skip over it. Okay, so this is the look complete and this is what it looks like. I have to say, I think that this palette It performs really nicely. It does kind of annoy me that I've got to go back to putting on the shimmer shades with like a base or with like concealer underneath, because I do find that on like hooded lids or like kind of puffier eyelids where the skin isn't really as taut, it does look a little bit chunky, even though the actual sort of shimmers are really like smooth, if you know what I mean. They're like a really smooth shimmer, but on a hooded eyelid it can look chunky if you've got like a base underneath. So yeah, I do like this palette. I do think it performs well. I didn't really find that the shades were really hard to blend out or anything like that. Like I said, the shimmer shades could be a little bit better. I think with the comparison of the Armed and Gorgeous palette, this one, the shimmers just apply so well apart from Classified. They're just like a really, really nice formula and they're really easy to pick up sort of thing. So yes, really good. As you can see, or as you just saw me applying them, they apply reasonably well. They're not the easiest shadows in the world to apply, but they're not the most difficult either. And I did actually find, and I know a lot of people are comparing these to the original Jaclyn Hill palette, the original formula, everything like that, because everybody loved it. When I was swatching them and playing with them, to be honest, they weren't that much different. They didn't feel very different. They didn't swatch very differently. On the eyes, I find that with the Jaclyn Hill palette, they all tend to sort of go together. So when you've got really similar shades, they blend really nicely together, but I don't see a massive amount of difference. I do think if you go in a little bit too much with them, that's when you can start to have problems. As far as I'm concerned, my one of the Ring the Alarm palette performs pretty well and I'm looking forward to using it more. I really like how this look turned out, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So if you want to see my other videos, I will have had them tagged up here along the way, but I'll leave them in the description box for you as well, or this will be in a playlist with them. If you enjoyed this video, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel. I do promise that not all my videos are Morphe, they just happen to have a launch, and the way that I wanted to do it took up quite a lot of time in videos, but there will be other things coming as well, don't worry. As well as other looks with these, so if you want to see other looks with these, let me know in the comments below. But I think that's it. I upload every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so hopefully I will see you in my next video.